The rain fell like needles that night 3 years ago. I can still feel it, cold, relentless, soaking through my clothes as I stood at the border of Nightfall territory. Alpha King Alan stood 10 feet away, his storm gray eyes refusing to meet mine. I, Alpha King Alan Nightfall, reject you, Glenda Shadowmere, as my mate and Luna. The words didn't just break my heart. They shattered my soul into pieces so small I wondered if I'd ever find them all again. The mate bond snapped like a violin string pulled too tight, and I collapsed to my knees in the mud. Behind Alan, the entire pack watched in silence. Some faces showed pity, others showed satisfaction. And there, standing just behind the Alpha King's shoulder, was Jexina Frostbane. Her red lips curved into the smallest smile. That was 3 years ago. Today, I sit in my office at Lunar Heritage Sanctuary, staring at a cream-colored envelope. My hands are steady now. They don't shake the way they did back then. The envelope sits on my mahogany desk like a coiled snake. I already know what's inside. The scent hit me the moment my assistant Allura Wolfheart brought it in, cedarwood and morning frost. Alan's scent. After 3 years, it still makes my wolf stir restlessly inside me. I open the envelope with deliberate slowness. Alpha King Alan Nightfall requests the presence of Glenda Shadowmere at the royal pup ceremony, where he will formally present his heirs to the assembled packs of the Northern Territory. Former mate, not rejected mate, just former, as if our bond had simply expired like a business contract. The ceremony is in 3 days. I read the date twice, then set the invitation down. My office window overlooks the training grounds where rejected wolves learn to fight again. 200 acres of forest and meadow. 150 residents who found their way here after their own packs discarded them. This sanctuary is mine. I built it from nothing. Mom, you're crushing the paper. I blink and look down. My fingers have wrinkled the expensive stationery without me realizing it. Brenton stands beside my desk. My eldest son, eldest by 4 minutes to be specific. At 3 years old, he's already the height of a 5-year-old human child. His dark hair absorbs the afternoon light, and his amber eyes, my eyes, watch me with concern far too mature for his age. I'm fine, sweetheart, I say, smoothing the invitation flat. That letter smells like thunder, Brenton says, his small nose wrinkles. And broken promises. My heart clenches. Alpha pups have heightened senses, but this is something more. Brenton can smell emotions the way other wolves smell prey. Kyril appears in the doorway, quieter than his twin. He carries a wooden wolf carving, his fingers still working the small knife I probably shouldn't have given him. But alpha pups mature faster than others, and Kyril has never once cut himself. Is it from the bad place? Kyril asks softly. The place where you cried. I thought I'd hidden my pain better than that. Apparently not. I close my laptop and give both boys my full attention. They deserve that much. They deserve everything. Come here, I say, opening my arms. Both twins climb into my lap. They're getting too big for this, growing faster every day, but I hold them close and breathe in their scent. Milk and pine and something else, something that smells like Alan, like the royal bloodline they carry whether their father knows it or not. Your father has invited us to a ceremony, I tell them. My voice stays calm, measured. He doesn't know you exist. He's going to present other pups as his heirs. Brenton's eyes flash gold. Why doesn't he know about us? I've practiced this explanation. I knew this day would come eventually. When I was pregnant with you both, I was told I couldn't have pups. It was a lie, but your father believed it. He sent me away before I knew you were growing inside me. Kyril's small hand touches my face. Doesn't he want us? The question cuts, deeper than any rejection ever could. He doesn't know what he's missing, I say firmly, but he's about to find out. Brenton slides off my lap, his small body already showing the aggressive stance of an alpha. Will he try to hurt you again? No one will hurt me again, I tell him. I'm not the same woman he rejected, and I'm not going alone. I stand and walk to the window. Beyond the training grounds, the mountains rise purple and gold in the setting sun. This sanctuary is my empire. These people are my pack, even if no formal bond ties us. I've trained warriors, counseled broken hearts, and built something that matters. Alan wants me to witness his triumph. Fine. Let him see what his rejection created. I turn back to my sons. Pack your formal clothes, boys. We're going to visit your father. Kyril tilts his head. Will he be happy to see us? I kneel down to their level, holding both their small faces in my hands. I don't know, Bobbies, but whether he's happy or not doesn't change what you are. You're wanted. You're loved. You're more than enough. Brenton's jaw sets in a way that mirrors Alan perfectly. Then, let's go show him. After the boys leave to pack, I call Allura back to my office. She enters immediately, her expression tight with concern. Allura was one of my first rescues, a beta female whose mate rejected her for being too opinionated. Now she runs half the sanctuary operations and takes orders from no one. You're actually going, she asks without preamble. I am. Glenda, this could be a trap. He publicly humiliated you. Why would he invite you back unless he wants to hurt you again? I pick up the invitation and read it once more. The ceremony will host 5 packs, hundreds of wolves. Alan wants witnesses to his success. He doesn't want to hurt me, I say slowly. He wants to prove he was right to reject me. He wants to show everyone that his life continued perfectly without me. Allura's hands curl into fists. Then, why give him the satisfaction? Because I'm going to show him something he doesn't expect. I meet her eyes. I'm going to show him his sons. Allura's breath catches. You're going to tell him. I'm going to let him see them. Brenton and Kyril look exactly like him, Allura. The resemblance is impossible to miss. When he sees them, he'll know. And then he'll have to live with the knowledge that he threw away 3 years with his own children. She studies me for a long moment. This isn't just about showing him what he lost, is it? You want him to hurt the way you hurt. I don't deny it. Is that so wrong? No, Allura says quietly. It's human or wolf, whatever. She sighs. I'll clear your schedule. How long will you be gone? 3 days, maybe 4. I'm coming with you. I start to protest, but she cuts me off. You're walking into territory where half the pack watched your rejection and did nothing, where the physician who declared you barren still practices, where Jexina Frostbane will be standing beside Alan as his chosen mate. Allura's voice is steel. You're not going without backup. I want to argue. I want to prove I can do this alone. But I'm not alone anymore. I have people who care about me. I have a sanctuary full of wolves who would fight for me. I have my sons. Thank you, I say simply. Allura nods. I'll arrange security. Tavor will want to come too. Tavor Hawkwell, Alan's former beta, exiled for questioning the Alpha King's decisions too loudly. He helped me build this sanctuary, gave me the initial funding, taught me how to lead when I could barely stand. Tavor has his own history with Alan, I say carefully. Exactly, which means he'll watch your back better than anyone. Allura moves toward the door, then pauses. Glenda, what if Alan wants you back? What if he sees the boys and realizes his mistake? I laugh, but it's hollow. He made his choice 3 years ago. He chose duty over love, politics over partnership. He chose to believe a lie rather than trust his own mate. People can change. Maybe, I allow, but some breaks can't be mended. Some trust, once destroyed, never fully rebuilds. After Allura leaves, I sit in the growing darkness of my office. The mate bond hums faintly in my chest, damaged but not completely severed. The bond never fully breaks unless both parties accept the rejection. I never accepted it. I was too heartbroken, too shocked, too broken to speak those final words. So somewhere deep inside, the bond remains, dormant, waiting. My wolf paces restlessly. She wants her mate. She doesn't understand human politics or pack pressure or lies. She only knows that Alan is ours and we are his. But I'm not ruled by my wolf anymore. I'm ruled by the memory of my son's first cries, by the weight of responsibility I carry for every rejected wolf who finds safety here. by the knowledge that I survived the unsurvivable and became stronger for it. I open my desk drawer and pull out a photograph. It was taken 6 months after the rejection. I'm sitting on the steps of a human homeless shelter, visibly pregnant, wearing clothes 3 sizes too big. My eyes are hollow. My face is gaunt. I look like a ghost. I keep this photo to remind myself how far I've come. Then I pull out the second photograph. This one is recent. Me standing with Brenton and Kyril at the sanctuary's grand opening celebration. We're all laughing. The boys are wearing matching shirts that say Sanctuary Pups. I'm wearing a dress I designed myself, my hair styled, my eyes bright with purpose. 2 different women. The first was destroyed by rejection. The second rose from the ashes and built an empire. Alan summoned the first woman. He's going to meet the second. I gather both photographs and lock them back in the drawer. Then I pull out my phone and make a call. Glenda, Taver's deep voice answers immediately. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I need a favor. Name it. I need you to drive us to Nightfall territory in 3 days. And I need you to help me make an entrance they'll never forget. There's a pause. Then Taver chuckles darkly. Alan invited you to the pup ceremony. He did. And you're actually going. With my sons. Another pause, longer this time. You're going to tell him. I'm going to show him. There's a difference. Glenda, this could get complicated. If Alan realizes those boys are his. Then he'll have to live with the consequences of his choices, I interrupt. Just like I've had to live with mine. Taver sighs. You know I'll help you, always, but I need to tell you something first. My stomach tightens. What? I still have contacts in Alan's pack. Word is Jexina is nervous. She's been asking questions about you, about where you've been, whether you're coming to the ceremony. Let her be nervous. There's more. The pups she's supposedly presenting, no one in the pack has actually seen them. She claims they were born premature, kept in intensive care at a medical facility in another territory. I sit up straighter. You think she's lying about the pregnancy? I think something's not right. And I think you walking in with 2 healthy, powerful alpha pups is going to expose whatever game she's playing. I process this information slowly. Part of me wants Jexina to be exposed as a fraud. But another part remembers her smile that rainy night, remembers how she positioned herself perfectly to take my place. Be careful, Glenda, Taver says quietly. A cornered wolf is the most dangerous kind. I'm not the one who should be worried, I tell him. I'm not planning to corner anyone. I'm just planning to exist, openly, with my sons. That's going to be threatening enough, Taver says. I'll pick you up in 3 days. Early morning. We'll need time to cross the border and settle before the ceremony. After I hang up, I walk through the sanctuary. It's evening, and the common areas are filled with wolves sharing meals, telling stories, healing together. I see Marloea Ironwood, an elder who was rejected by her pack for being too old to contribute. She's teaching young pups how to weave baskets from willow branches. I see Daxton Ironwood, a warrior who was exiled for refusing to participate in an unjust challenge. He's leading a self-defense class for Omega wolves who never learned to fight. I see Elvoria Nightfall, distant relation to Alan's bloodline, rejected for choosing a career over motherhood. She's in the library, organizing books donated by human allies. This sanctuary isn't just a refuge, it's a revolution. We're proving that rejection isn't the end. That worth isn't determined by pack status or mate bonds or the ability to produce heirs. We're proving that broken things can be made whole again. I find my sons in their shared bedroom. They've laid out their formal clothes on the bed, matching charcoal suits I had tailored for them last month. We're ready, Mom, Brenton says. He's sitting on the floor, polishing his small dress shoes with intense concentration. Kyril is at the window, looking out at the stars. Will there be other pups at the ceremony? Probably, I say, sitting on the edge of his bed. Children from the visiting packs. Will they want to play with us? The question breaks my heart. My sons have been raised in this sanctuary, surrounded by love but isolated from traditional pack life. They've never attended a ceremony, never participated in pack games, never experienced the casual cruelty that sometimes comes with hierarchy and status. Some might, I say carefully. Others might not understand you. You're different, Chiral. You and your brother are special. Because we're alpha pups, Brenton asks, looking up from his shoes. Because you're mine, I correct. Because you've been raised with love and truth and strength. Because you know your worth isn't determined by what others think of you. Both boys are quiet for a moment. Then Brenton asks the question I've been dreading. Mom, will our father love us? I pull both boys close, wrapping my arms around them. I don't know, I admit. Your father is complicated. He's a good leader, a strong alpha, but he made a terrible mistake when he rejected me. He might see you and feel regret. He might see you and feel joy. He might see you and feel nothing at all. And if he feels nothing, Chiral whispers, then his loss is greater than he'll ever know, I say firmly. Because you two are the best thing that ever happened to me. You are brilliant and kind and powerful. Any father would be blessed to claim you. Brenton's small hand grips mine. But you're enough, right? Even if he doesn't want us, you're enough. Tears burn my eyes, but I don't let them fall. I'm enough, I promise. And you're enough, and we're enough together. We don't need anyone else to complete us. But even as I say the words, I feel the mate bond pulse faintly in my chest. My wolf whispers that we do need him, that we're incomplete without our mate. I ignore her. Some needs are stronger than instinct. And my need to protect my sons is the strongest need of all. Sleep doesn't come easily that night. I lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, while memories crash over me like waves. Alan and I met at the Alpha Summit 5 years ago. I was 18, fresh and naive and so full of hope. He was 25, newly crowned after his father's sudden death, carrying the weight of an entire kingdom on his shoulders. The mate bond snapped into place the moment our eyes met across the ceremonial hall. I remember the shock of it, like lightning and honey and coming home all at once. My wolf howled with joy. His eyes widened, storm gray turning molten silver as he recognized me too. We barely spoke that first night. We didn't need to. The bond did all the talking, pulling us together like magnets, like destiny, like everything the old stories promised. He marked me 3 days later under the full moon. I marked him back. The ceremony was small, intimate, witnessed only by his closest advisors and my small family. I became Glenda Nightfall. The title felt too big for my shoulders, but Alan promised to help me carry it. We're partners, he said, his forehead pressed against mine. You and me against the world. I believed him. For 6 months, I believed him. I learned to lead. I sat in on council meetings, mediated disputes, organized pack events. I wasn't perfect. I made mistakes, stepped on toes, sometimes spoke when I should have listened. But I was learning, growing, becoming the Luna the pack needed. Then I started getting sick. It began with fatigue. I'd fall asleep during afternoon meetings, struggle to wake in the mornings. Then came the nausea, the missed heats, the strange cravings and mood swings. I thought I was pregnant. My wolf was certain. She preened and prepared, already imagining our pups. But Jexina Frostbane, Alan's childhood friend, his father's godchild, a constant presence in pack life, noticed my symptoms and grew concerned. You should see Dr. Sornix, she suggested one morning, her green eyes full of false sympathy. Those symptoms aren't normal for pregnancy. They might indicate something serious. I should have been suspicious, should have questioned why she cared so much. But I was young and scared, and desperate for answers. Dr. Sornix ran extensive tests, blood work, hormone panels, physical examinations that left me feeling violated and small. The results came back 2 weeks later. Luna Glenda, Sornix said, his expression grave. I'm afraid your hormone levels indicate a serious condition. Your womb is. He paused, choosing his words carefully. Dark, empty, incapable of sustaining life. The words didn't make sense at first. But I feel pregnant, I protested. My wolf knows. Sometimes our wolves sense what we wish to be true rather than what is true, Sornix interrupted gently. I'm sorry, Luna. You carry an inherited infertility condition. You will never bear children. The floor dropped out from under me. Never. That word echoed in my skull like a death sentence. Sornix recommended I tell Alan immediately. The pack needed heirs. The bloodline had to continue. I waited 2 days before finding the courage to speak with my mate. We were in his study. Rain pattered against the windows. Alan was reviewing territorial maps, his brow furrowed with concentration. Alan, I said quietly, I need to tell you something. He looked up, and for a moment, I saw the man who'd marked me under the moon. The man who'd promised partnership. Then I told him about the tests. I watched his face change, watched hope drain away like water through a sieve. You're certain? He asked. His voice was flat, empty. Sornix ran the tests 3 times. Alan stood abruptly, walking to the window. His shoulders were rigid, his hands clenched into fists. The council has been pressuring me, he said to the glass, demanding heirs, questioning whether you're suitable as Luna. I know, I whispered. I'm sorry. He turned to face me. This isn't about sorry, Glenda. This is about the survival of the bloodline. The pack needs security. They need to know the Nightfall line will continue. We could adopt, I suggested desperately, or find another solution. The council won't accept adoption. They need blood heirs. The words sat between us like stones. What are you saying? I asked, though I already knew. Alan's eyes met mine, and I saw the decision already made. I'm saying I have a duty, to my pack, to my bloodline, to everything my father built. What about your duty to me? My voice cracked. I'm your mate, Alan, your chosen partner. I know, he said quietly, and this is killing me, but I can't choose you over thousands of pack members who depend on me. The rejection ceremony happened 2 weeks later. In those 2 weeks, I begged. I pleaded. I searched for other doctors, other opinions, any evidence that Sornix was wrong. But Alan had already made his choice. He announced publicly that his mate was Barren, that he would be taking Jexina Frostbane as his chosen mate to ensure the continuation of the bloodline. The Pack Council approved immediately. I was given 3 days to pack my belongings and leave the territory. On the 3rd day, Alan stood at the border with half the pack assembled as witnesses. Rain poured from a gray sky. I stood in front of him, shivering, wearing the simple dress I'd worn the day we met. I, Alpha King Alan Nightfall, reject you, Glenda Shadowmere, as my mate and Luna. The bond snapped. I felt it tear through my chest like claws, ripping and shredding until I couldn't breathe. I collapsed to my knees in the mud. Alan turned his back and walked away. The pack dispersed, leaving me kneeling at the border in the rain. Only Taver stayed. He helped me to my feet, pressed money into my hands, and whispered, "This is wrong, I'm sorry." Then he left too. I walked into human territory with nothing but a backpack and a shattered heart. Now, lying in my comfortable bed in my sanctuary 3 years later, I touch my chest where the bond still hums faintly. I never accepted the rejection. I should have. It would have severed the bond completely, freed both of us. But I was too broken, too shocked, too devastated to speak the words. So the bond remains, damaged, dormant, but alive. Sometimes I wonder if Alan feels it too. If he lies awake at night and senses me across the distance. If his wolf howls for mine the way mine sometimes howls for his. Then I remember the look on his face as he turned away from me in the rain. And I stop wondering. Morning comes too quickly. I wake to find both twins already dressed in their traveling clothes, sitting on my bed with identical expressions of determination. "We're ready," Brenton announces. Chiral nods. "We practiced our greetings and our manners. We won't embarrass you, Mom." My heart swells. You could never embarrass me. We eat breakfast in the common dining hall. The entire sanctuary seems to know about the trip. Wolves approach our table with words of encouragement, small gifts for the boys, fierce hugs for me. Elvoria Nightfall presses a silver pendant into my palm. This belonged to my grandmother, the original Lunar Nightfall. She always said it brought clarity in times of confusion. I want you to have it. I try to refuse, but she closes my fingers around it. You're going to face your past, she says quietly. This will remind you who you've become. Allura appears with 3 suitcases packed with formal clothes. I included your silver gown, the one designed by that human fashion student you mentored. The gown is stunning, liquid silver that catches light like moonbeams, cut to honor my figure without being provocative. I bought it for the sanctuary's first annual gala, but never wore it. It's too much, I protest. It's perfect, Allura counters. You're not going as a rejected mate. You're going as the founder of Lunar Heritage Sanctuary. You're going as a leader. Dress like one. Taver arrives at 8 o'clock sharp, driving a sleek black vehicle with tinted windows. He's aged well in the 3 years since I last saw him, gray threading through his dark hair, lines around his eyes from smiling more. Glenda, he greets me, pulling me into a careful hug. You look strong. I am strong. He kneels to the twins' level. And you must be Brenton and Chiral. Your mothers told me all about you. Both boys study him with unnerving intensity. You smell like old loyalty, Chiral observes. Taver laughs. That's the most accurate description anyone's ever given me. We load the vehicle. Allura sits in the passenger seat. I sit in the back with the twins. A second vehicle follows with Daxton and 2 other sanctuary warriors. As we pull away from the sanctuary, I watch it disappear in the side mirror. My empire, my achievement, my proof that rejection isn't the end. Mom, Brenton's small hand finds mine. Are you scared? I consider lying, but I've never lied to my sons. A little, I admit, but I'm also ready. Ready for what? Chiral asks. I look at both of them, these extraordinary boys who carry Alan's bloodline and my resilience. Ready to show your father exactly what his rejection created. The drive takes 6 hours. We cross through neutral territories, past forests and mountains and rivers that mark boundaries between packs. Taver fills me in on pack politics I've missed while building my sanctuary. Alan's been a strong alpha king, he says carefully. The pack has prospered under his leadership. Territory has expanded. Alliances have strengthened. But, I prompt, but the council is restless. They want heirs. Jexina promised them twins 2 months ago, but no one's seen the pups. She claims they're in intensive care, too fragile for visitors. That's convenient, Allura mutters. Taver catches my eye in the rearview mirror. I have a friend who works at the medical facility where these pups are supposedly being treated. She says there are no Nightfall pups in their care. My stomach tightens. So Jexina is lying about the pregnancy. Or she's hiding something, Taver says. Either way, when you walk in with 2 healthy alpha pups who are clearly Alan's sons, her lies are going to unravel fast. We stop for lunch at a roadside diner in neutral territory. The twins devour hamburgers while I push salad around my plate, my appetite gone. Allura leans close. You don't have to do this. We can turn around right now. I shake my head. I need to do this. Not for revenge, not even for vindication. I need my sons to see their father. They deserve that much. And what about what you deserve? She asks softly. I don't have an answer. We reach the Nightfall territory border at 3 in the afternoon. The moment we cross the invisible line, my entire body reacts. The mate bond flares to life like someone poured gasoline on dying embers. My wolf surges forward, eager and desperate and heartbroken all at once. Both twins gasp. Mom, your scent changed, Brenton says, alarmed. Chiral's eyes are wide. You smell like lightning and sadness. I force myself to breathe slowly. It's the mate bond. It's stronger here in his territory. The border guards recognize our vehicle, or more accurately, they recognize Taver. Elric Shadowmere, head of border security and distant relation of mine, steps forward. His eyes widen when he sees me through the window. Luna Glenda. Just Glenda, I correct gently. His gaze shifts to the twins in the backseat. I watch realization dawn on his face. The resemblance to Alan is impossible to miss. You're here for the ceremony, he says slowly. I was invited. Elric nods, then speaks into his radio. Border Patrol to Alpha King. Glenda Shadowmere has arrived with her party. Static crackles, then Alan's voice, rough and shocked. Say that again. Glenda Shadowmere is here, with companions. A long pause. Let them through. Elric waves us forward, but I see him immediately pull out his phone. Within minutes, the entire pack will know I've returned. We drive through familiar territory. Every landmark is a memory. The meadow where Alan first kissed me, the lake where we swam under summer stars, the training grounds where I learned to fight. The twins press their faces to the windows, absorbing everything. It's beautiful, Kyril breathes. It's ours, Brenton says with alpha certainty. I can feel it. This land knows us. He's right. The Nightfall bloodline recognizes its own. We pull up to the guest lodge on the edge of the ceremonial grounds. It's nice, but not luxurious. A deliberate slight that tells me exactly where I rank now. As I step out of the vehicle, I feel eyes on me. I turn toward the main pack house. Alan stands on the balcony, binoculars in hand. Even from this distance, I feel the shock rolling off him. The mate bond roars to life between us, 3 years of dormancy exploding into sudden, desperate awareness. My wolf howls. His wolf answers. And for one heartbeat, we're connected again, 2 halves of a broken whole reaching across the void. Then Jexina appears beside him, her hand possessive on his arm. The moment shatters. I turn away and follow my sons into the lodge. Tomorrow, the real confrontation begins. Tonight, I need to prepare for war. The guest lodge is comfortable in a way that feels almost insulting. Neutral colors, generic furniture, nothing that suggests welcome or warmth. This is where you put visitors you're obligated to house, but don't actually want. I don't care. I've slept in far worse places. Allura checks the rooms with practiced efficiency. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, small kitchen. It'll work. Taver and Daxton are unloading our bags when a knock sounds at the door. Everyone freezes. I nod to Taver. He opens the door to reveal Jasper Hawkwell, the current beta, and Taver's younger brother. The family resemblance is striking. Same dark hair, same sharp features. But where Taver's eyes hold wisdom earned through exile, Jasper's hold the wariness of someone still learning to navigate pack politics. Glenda, Jasper says, his voice uncertain. Luna, Miss Shadowmere, It's just Glenda, I tell him. Please. He nods, clearly uncomfortable. The Alpha King requests your presence for a private meeting. Tonight, in his study. My heart pounds, but I keep my expression calm. Tell him I'm settling my sons in. Perhaps tomorrow would be better. Jasper's eyes widen at the word sons. I watch him do the mental math. 3 years since my rejection, 3-year-old children. Your sons, he repeats. Yes, Brenton and Kyril. They're having dinner right now. Would you like to meet them? It's not really a question. I walk past Jasper into the small dining area where both twins are arranging takeout containers on the table. They look up as we enter. The reaction is instantaneous. Jasper's breath catches. His face goes pale. He stares at Brenton and Kyril like he's seeing ghosts. Because he is, in a way. He's seeing Alan's childhood face duplicated in miniature. He's seeing undeniable proof of what everyone claimed was impossible. Mother of the Moon, Jasper whispers. Brenton straightens, his young alpha aura flaring defensively. Who are you? I'm Beta Jasper Hawkwell, Jasper manages. I serve your... He trails off, looking at me helplessly. Their father, I finish calmly. Yes, Alan is their father, they're his blood heirs. Jasper's hand trembles as he pulls out his phone. The Alpha King needs to know. The Alpha King can wait until tomorrow, I interrupt. My sons need dinner, baths, and sleep. We've traveled 6 hours. This conversation can happen on my schedule, not his. Jasper looks torn between duty and something that might be respect. Finally, he nods. I'll tell him you'll meet tomorrow, morning or afternoon. I'll let him know, I say dismissively. After Jasper leaves, Allura locks the door and turns to me. That was dangerous. You just declared independence from his authority. I don't recognize his authority anymore, I say simply. I'm not Pac, I'm not Luna. I'm a guest who was invited to attend a ceremony, nothing more. Taver chuckles. Alan's going to lose his mind. Good. We eat dinner together, all 5 of us crowded around the small table. The twins tell stories about the sanctuary, about their training sessions with Daxton, about the wolf pups they're teaching to track. They're so alive, so vibrant, so completely themselves. I watch them and feel fierce pride. These boys are mine. I raised them without Alan's help, without Pac's support, without anything but determination and love. They don't need their father to be complete. But maybe their father needs them. After dinner, I run baths for both boys. They splash and play, temporarily forgetting the weight of tomorrow's confrontation. Kyril looks up at me, his dark hair plastered to his forehead. Mom, do you think our father will like us? The question never stops hurting. I think he'd be a fool not to love you, I say honestly. But people are complicated, baby. Sometimes they don't react the way we hope. But we're his sons, Brenton argues. The bond is there. We can feel it even if he doesn't know us yet. Alpha pups are born with an instinctive understanding of pack bonds. They can sense blood ties the way other wolves sense danger. You're right, I acknowledge. The bond is there, but bonds take more than blood. They take time and trust and work. After the boys are in bed, I sit on the small porch with Allura and Taver. The night is clear, stars scattered across the sky like diamonds. He's coming, Taver says suddenly. I feel it too, Alan's presence moving through the darkness like a storm front. The mate bond pulls taut, alerting me to his approach. A minute later, Alan emerges from the shadows. He's alone. He's also barely holding himself together. 3 years have aged him. There are lines around his eyes that weren't there before, gray threading through his dark hair. But he's still devastatingly handsome, still carries himself with the confidence of absolute authority. His storm gray eyes lock onto mine. The mate bond explodes between us, 3 years of separation compressed into a single moment of desperate recognition. My wolf howls, his wolf answers. For a heartbeat, we're 18 and 25 again, meeting across a crowded ceremonial hall, feeling destiny snap into place. Then reality crashes back. Glenda, Alan breathes, his voice is hoarse, wrecked. You came. You summoned me, I reply coolly. I can hardly refuse an Alpha King's request. He flinches at my formal tone. It wasn't a summons, it was. I wanted you to see. That you replaced me, I interrupt. That your life continued perfectly while mine fell apart. Alan's hands clench into fists. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Alan? He takes a step closer. Taver and Allura tense, but I wave them back. This conversation is 3 years overdue. I thought about you every day, Alan says quietly. Every single day. The rejection nearly destroyed me. I laugh, and it's bitter. You rejected me. You don't get to claim victimhood. I know. He runs a hand through his hair, a gesture I remember too well. I know I was wrong. The pressure from the council, the pack's expectations, none of it mattered compared to losing you. Then why did you do it? I demand. Why did you choose their approval over our bond? Because I was a coward, Alan says simply. I was terrified of failing as Alpha King. My father had just died. The pack was looking to me for strength. When Sornik said you couldn't bear children, I panicked. I chose the easy path instead of fighting for what mattered. His honesty surprises me. The Alan I remember never admitted weakness. That's quite the confession, I say carefully. It's the truth. His eyes search mine desperately. Glenda, I never stopped. Don't, I hold up a hand. Don't you dare tell me you never stopped loving me, not after what you put me through. Then let me say I was wrong, Alan continues. Let me say that rejecting you was the biggest mistake of my life. Let me say that every day since has been hollow. Words are cheap, Alan. Then let me prove it with actions. He steps closer, close enough that I can smell his scent, cedarwood and morning frost. Give me a chance to make this right. Make what right? The rejection, the humiliation, the 3 years I spent rebuilding myself from nothing. All of it, he says fiercely. Let me fix it all. I shake my head. Some things can't be fixed. That's when Chiral appears in the doorway behind me. My gentle, perceptive son, who should be asleep. He's wearing his pajamas, his wooden wolf carving clutched in one hand. Mom, he says softly, I heard voices. Then he sees Alan. The moment freezes. Father and son stare at each other for the first time. Chiral's eyes, the same storm gray as Alan's, go wide. His small nose wrinkles, scenting the air. You smell like us, Chiral says. Like pack, like blood. Alan's entire body goes rigid. He looks at Chiral like he's seeing a miracle and a nightmare simultaneously. Who? Alan's voice breaks. He tries again. Who is this? I move to stand beside my son, my hand protective on his small shoulder. This is Glenda Shadowmere, I say clearly. My son, your son, one of the twin boys I gave birth to 3 months after you rejected me. The color drains from Alan's face. What? The word is barely a whisper. Brenton appears beside his brother, equally pajama-clad, equally alert. Chiral, you were supposed to stay in bed, Brenton scolds. Then he notices Alan and goes very still. Now Alan is staring at both boys, at their identical features, at the undeniable resemblance to his own childhood face. Twins, he breathes. You had twins, you were pregnant when. When you rejected me, I finish. Yes, about 8 weeks along when Sornix declared me barren. Funny how that worked out. Alan staggers backward like I've struck him. His hand grips the porch railing for support. 3 years, he says, his voice hollow. I have sons for 3 years and you never told me. My anger flares hot and bright. You threw me away like garbage. You chose to believe a lie over your own mate. You rejected me in the rain in front of half the pack. Why would I give you the satisfaction of knowing you were wrong? Satisfaction, Alan's voice rises. You think I would have felt satisfied, Glenda, if I'd known. If you'd known, what? You would have taken them away from me, claimed them as heirs while still keeping me exiled, used them as proof you were right to replace me with Jexina. The twins are watching this exchange with wide eyes. I take a breath, force myself to calm down. They don't need to see their parents fighting. Boys, go back to bed, I say gently. Your father and I are having a discussion that needs to happen in private. But, Brenton starts. Bed, now. Both twins obey reluctantly, disappearing inside. Once they're gone, I turn back to Alan. He's crying. The great Alpha King has tears streaming down his face. Let me see them properly, he begs. Please, let me. I need to see my sons. Part of me wants to refuse, wants to make him hurt the way I've hurt. But I remember Chiral's question, will our father love us? Tomorrow, I tell him, at the ceremony, you wanted heirs to present. Well, congratulations, you're about to meet the real Nightfall heirs. Alan's face shows a dozen emotions at once. Tomorrow? No, Glenda, please, I can't wait another. You've waited 3 years because you didn't know they existed, I interrupt. You can wait 12 more hours. My sons need sleep, and I need time to prepare them for this. Prepare them for what? For the possibility that their father might reject them the way he rejected me. The words hit like a physical blow. I would never, Alan starts. You rejected your fated mate based on a lie, I say coldly. Forgive me for not trusting your judgment. I turn to go inside, but Alan's voice stops me. Glenda, one question. I pause but don't turn around. Why didn't you accept the rejection? When I severed the bond, you were supposed to accept it, complete the break, but you didn't. Why? I look back over my shoulder. Because I was too heartbroken to speak, I say simply. I had nothing left. You took everything, even my voice. Then I walk inside and close the door. Through the window, I watch Alan sink to his knees on the porch. The mighty Alpha King, broken by truth. Allura appears beside me. That was brutal. That was honest. He's devastated. Good, I say, but my voice wavers. He should be devastated. He should feel every ounce of pain he caused. And what about you? Allura asks softly. Are you devastated too? I touch my chest, where the mate bond throbs like a fresh wound. I've been devastated for 3 years, I whisper. But I learned to function anyway. Alan is just beginning to understand what that feels like. I check on the twins. Both are in bed, eyes closed, but I can tell they're not sleeping. I know you're awake, I say gently. Brenton's eyes open immediately. Kyril follows a second later. Was that really our father? Kyril asks. Yes. He seemed sad, Kyril observes. He is sad. He's learning things that are difficult to process. Brenton sits up, his young face serious. Mom, if he asks us to stay here, what do we say? My heart clenches. Do you want to stay here? I want to be wherever you are, Brenton says fiercely. You're our pack, you're our home. Kyril nods in agreement. I pull them both into my arms, inhaling their sweet scent. No one is making you stay anywhere you don't want to be, I promise. No matter what happens tomorrow, we're a family. That doesn't change. After they fall asleep, really asleep this time, I lie in my own bed, staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow, everything changes. Tomorrow, Alan will see his sons presented before the assembled packs. Tomorrow, Jexina's lies will be exposed. Tomorrow, the truth comes out. I should sleep, I should rest. Instead, I touch the mate bond one more time. On the other end, I feel Alan's presence, awake, anguished, reaching across the distance the same way I am. For just a moment, I let myself remember what it felt like to love him, to be loved by him, to believe in forever. Then I pull back and lock the bond away. Tomorrow is for truth. Tonight is for grieving what was lost and preparing for what comes next. Morning arrives with brilliant sunlight that feels wrong for the day ahead. I wake to find both twins already dressed in their formal suits, standing by the window like tiny sentinels. The ceremony grounds are filling up, Brenton reports. There are hundreds of wolves already. I join them at the window. He's right. The ceremonial grounds stretch below us, and pack members stream in from multiple directions. I recognize the different pack symbols: Ironwood, Stormrider, Wolfheart, Frostbane. 5 packs gathered to witness what they think will be Alan's triumph. Instead, they're about to witness his reckoning. How are you both feeling? I ask, kneeling beside my sons. Kyril touches his chest. There's something pulling here, like a string tied to my heart. That's the blood bond, I explain. You're recognizing your father's territory, your birthright. Brenton's jaw sets. What if they don't want us? What if they say we don't belong? I cup both their faces in my hands. Then we leave with our heads high, knowing we gave them the chance. We don't beg for acceptance. We never beg. A knock interrupts us. Allura enters with coffee and worried eyes. Taver just got intel from his contacts. Jexina is panicking. She tried to postpone the ceremony, claiming the pups aren't ready for public presentation yet. What did Alan say? I ask. He refused, told her the ceremony proceeds as planned. Allura pauses. He also sent a message specifically for you. She hands me a folded note. I open it with steady hands. Glenda, I understand if you can't forgive me. I understand if you never want to see me again after today. But please, let me meet our sons properly. Let me acknowledge them before the pack. Let me give them what they're owed, their name, their birthright, their father. Whatever happens between us, they deserve that much. Alan. I fold the note and tuck it into my pocket. What did he say? Allura asks. He wants to claim them publicly. And you're going to let him. I think about Kyrill's question, will our father love us? Yes, I decide, but on my terms. We arrive at the ceremonial grounds exactly 15 minutes before the ceremony begins. Not early enough to seem eager, not late enough to be disrespectful. The timing is calculated. So is my entrance. I step out of the vehicle wearing the silver gown Allura insisted on. It catches the sunlight like liquid mercury, flowing around me with each step. My dark hair is styled simply but elegantly. I wear no jewelry except for Elvoria's silver pendant. I look like what I am, a Luna who built her own kingdom. Brenton and Kyrill flank me in their matching charcoal suits. Their dark hair is combed, their small faces serious. They walk with synchronized grace that draws every eye. The ceremonial grounds fall silent. Hundreds of wolves turn to stare. I hear the whispers start immediately. Is that Glenda Shadowmere? The rejected mate. Look at those boys. They look exactly like the Alpha King. She wasn't Barren after all. We walk down the center aisle toward the raised platform where Alan sits on his throne. The crowd parts before us like water. I keep my gaze forward, my expression serene. But inside, my heart is racing. The platform is decorated with Nightfall pack symbols. Alan sits in the center, wearing formal Alpha regalia. Jexina stands beside him, dressed in Luna colors that she has no right to wear. She's holding 2 small bundles, wrapped in blankets. Her face goes white when she sees me. Then she sees the twins. I watch panic flash across her features. Elder Marloea Ironwood presides over the ceremony. She's ancient, her face lined with wisdom earned over 9 decades. She was Luna before Alan's mother, and her word carries weight that even Alpha Kings respect. When she sees me approaching, her eyes widen. Luna Glenda, she calls out, her voice carrying across the silent grounds. You've returned. I was invited, Elder, I reply clearly. And it's simply Glenda now. I hold no title here. We reach the front of the crowd. I stop directly before the platform, my sons on either side of me. The assembled packs are completely silent. Alan rises from his throne. His eyes are locked on Brenton and Kyrill with an intensity that borders on desperate. Jexina grabs his arm. This interruption is inappropriate. Guards, remove this woman and her. These are my sons, Alan interrupts, his voice cutting through her protests like a blade. Aren't they, Glenda? Every wolf in attendance holds their breath. Yes, I say clearly. Brenton and Kyrill Shadowmere, born 3 years ago, your blood heirs. The ceremonial grounds erupt in shocked conversation. Elder Marloea's voice rises above the chaos. Order! I will have order. The crowd silences reluctantly. Marloea descends from the platform, her ancient eyes studying my sons with fierce intensity. She approaches them, kneels despite her age, and inhales deeply. Royal bloodline, she announces, undiluted. These boys carry the Nightfall Alpha gene in pure form. She looks up at Alan. You have sons, Alpha King, true sons. Jexina's voice rises shrilly. This is ridiculous. She's lying. Those children could be anyone's. They smell like Alan, Marloea interrupts coldly. They carry his aura. Any wolf with functioning senses can tell these are his offspring. Jexina clutches her bundles tighter. Well, my sons are his offspring too. I gave birth to his heirs 2 months ago. Marloea's eyes narrow. Then unwrap them. Let the pack see these heirs you claim to have birthed. They're sensitive to light, Jexina protests. The physician said. I don't care what the physician said, Marloea says with the authority of her age. This is a pup presentation ceremony. The entire point is to present the pups. Unwrap them. Now. Alan moves before Jexina can respond. He takes both bundles from her arms. Alan, no. Jexina reaches for them, but he steps away. He unwraps the first bundle. A small pup lies inside, maybe 2 months old, with light brown fur and golden eyes. Beautiful, healthy. But not Alan's. The coloring is all wrong. Nightfall pups are born with dark fur, gray eyes. Alan unwraps the second bundle, with hands that tremble. Another pup. This one has lighter coloring, softer features. Neither pup resembles Alan even slightly. "These aren't mine," Alan says quietly. The ceremonial grounds explode. Jexina's face contorts with desperation. "They are. The coloring will darken with age," the physician said. "Where is this physician?" Marloea demands. "Where is Dr. Sornix? He should be present to verify these claims." A commotion stirs at the back of the crowd. 4 wolves carry a stretcher forward. On it lies Dr. Sornix. He looks ancient, dying, consumed by something that might be guilt. They bring him to the platform's base. Sornix's eyes find mine. Tears stream down his weathered face. "Luna Glenda," he whispers, "forgive me." "Dr. Sornix," Marloea says sharply, "explain these discrepancies. You declared Luna Glenda Barren 3 years ago, yet she stands before us with twin sons who are clearly of royal blood. And you vouched for Lady Jexina's pregnancy, yet these pups bear no resemblance to the Alpha King." Sornix's whole body shakes. "I must confess before the moon goddess. Before I die, I must confess." "Then confess," Alan commands, his voice dangerous. Sornix's words come in labored breaths. "3 years ago, I was paid by Lady Jexina Frostbane and Councilman Glenda Shadowmere to destroy Luna Glenda." Gasps ripple through the crowd. "I administered fertility suppressants," Sornix continues. "Disguised as vitamins, made her sick, made the tests show infertility, but she was already pregnant, already. Carrying the Alpha King's heirs when I declared her barren." My vision blurs. All this time I thought something was wrong with me, that my body had failed. It was poison, deliberate, calculated. "Why?" Alan's voice breaks. "Why would you do this?" "Money," Sornix admits, "and fear. Councilman Glenda wanted his daughter positioned as Luna. Jexina wanted the Alpha King for herself. They paid me, threatened me. I was weak. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." He coughs, blood staining his lips. "The proof," he gasps. "Financial records in my clinic. Safe code 4739. Moon goddess forgive me." His eyes close. The pack physician checks his pulse, then looks up. He's gone. Silence falls like snow. Then Brenton steps forward. My brave, protective son climbs the first step of the platform. His young voice carries across the stunned crowd. "You wanted heirs, Alpha King Alan. Here we stand." He releases his alpha aura. It floods the ceremonial grounds like a tidal wave. Powerful, pure, undeniable. Every wolf within range drops to one knee instinctively. I feel my own knees weaken, fighting the urge to bow to my own son. Kyril joins his brother. His aura rises to complement Brenton's. Together, their power is unprecedented. Twin alphas, royal blood, the prophecy made flesh. Elder Marloea's voice shakes with awe. The ancient texts spoke of this. Twin alphas born of a true mate bond. Power amplified through shared blood. They will lead packs or destroy them. Alan stands frozen, staring at his sons. The bond between father and children snaps into place with visible force. Alan staggers, gripping the throne for support. "My sons," he breathes, "my boys." Then chaos erupts. A woman pushes through the crowd, tears streaming down her face. "Those are my pups," she cries, pointing at the bundles Alan still holds. "She took them from the Silver Creek orphanage. They're my niece's children." Jexina tries to run. Guards block her path. "No," she screams. "This is wrong. I should be Luna. I was promised." Alan's voice cuts through her hysteria like ice. "Jexina Frostbane, you conspired to destroy my mate. You falsified a pregnancy. You stole orphaned pups. You deceived 5 packs and mocked the moon goddess herself." His alpha command makes her fall to her knees. "You poisoned my mate," Alan continues, each word measured and deadly. "You cost me 3 years with my sons. You corrupted my physician and my council." He looks at Marloea. "Strip her of rank, Banish her from all pack territories. Let her survive as a rogue. No, Jexina's voice breaks. Alan, please, I did it for us. For you, she wasn't strong enough. She was my mate, Alan roars. My true mate, and you stole her from me. Guards drag Jexina away, her screams fatting into the distance. Alan turns to me. The ceremonial grounds fall silent again. Glenda, he says, and his voice cracks. I don't know how to apologize for this, for any of it. I stand tall, my sons returning to my sides. You can't apologize for it, I say clearly. You can only acknowledge it, own it, and do better. Let me do better, Alan pleads. Let me acknowledge our sons. Let me give them their birthright. I look down at Brenton and Kyril. It's your choice, I tell them quietly. Do you want him to claim you? Brenton studies his father with those storm-gray eyes. Will you promise not to abandon us? The question devastates Alan visibly. I swear on my alpha blood, he says. On the moon goddess herself, I will never abandon you, never reject you. I will spend the rest of my life earning your trust. Kyril looks at me. What do you think, Mom? I take a breath. I think your father made terrible mistakes, but I also think people deserve the chance to make things right. If you want to know him, I won't stop you. Both boys turn to face Alan. We'll give you a chance, Brenton says with alpha authority that shouldn't exist in a 3-year-old. But if you hurt our mother again, we'll challenge you ourselves. Alan drops to one knee, bringing himself to their height. I accept those terms, he says solemnly. Then he looks at Marloea. I wish to formally acknowledge my sons, Brenton and Kyril Shadowmere, blood heirs to the Nightfall throne. Marloea nods. The pack recognizes them, but there's a problem, Alpha King. What problem? They carry their mother's surname. To be true Nightfall heirs, they need to carry your name. But their mother isn't your mate anymore. You rejected her. The loophole is obvious. To claim his sons fully, Alan needs to re-establish the mate bond. Which means I have to accept him again. Every wolf present understands the implication. Alan meets my eyes across the distance. I see the question there, the hope, the desperate plea. I'm not making that decision today, I say firmly. My sons can know their father without me accepting a mate bond that was broken through betrayal. But, someone in the crowd protests. But nothing, I interrupt. I built a life without Alan. I raised these boys without his help. I don't need him to validate my worth or theirs. If he wants to be part of our lives, he can do it on my terms. Slowly, honestly, earning trust through action, not demanding it through authority. Marloea's eyes gleam with approval. Well said, Glenda Shadowmere. You may not carry the Luna title, but you speak with Lunar authority. She turns to the assembled packs. Let it be known, Brenton and Kyril are recognized as blood heirs to the Nightfall throne. Their mother, Glenda Shadowmere, retains full parental authority. Alpha King Alan may petition for visitation and involvement in their upbringing, subject to their mother's approval. It's not what Alan wanted. But it's fair. He nods slowly. I accept these terms. I start to turn away, to leave with my head high. Then Kyril tugs my hand. Mom, he says softly, can we talk to him just for a minute? I look at both my sons. They're scared but curious, hurt but hopeful. They deserve the chance to know their father. 5 minutes, I tell Alan. Private, in that grove of trees, I'll be watching. Alan's face transforms with gratitude. Thank you. I lead the boys to a small grove at the edge of the ceremonial grounds. Alan follows at a respectful distance. Once we're somewhat secluded, I step back but stay within sight. Alan kneels before his sons, tears streaming freely down his face. Hi, he says softly. Hi, Kyril echoes. Brenton stays silent, watchful. I don't know how to be a father, Alan admits. I've missed 3 years, 3 years of first steps and first words and everything that matters. But I want to learn, if you'll let me. Why did you hurt our mom? Brenton demands. Alan doesn't flinch from the question. Because I was weak. Because I let other people tell me what to do instead of trusting my own heart. because I chose politics over love. That was stupid, Brenton says bluntly. It was, Alan agrees. The stupidest thing I've ever done. Carol steps closer. Do you love her, our mom? With everything I am, Alan says. I never stopped. Then why didn't you fight for her? The question comes from Brenton, and it's the one that matters most. Alan's voice breaks. Because I didn't know how. Because I was taught that duty comes before everything. Because I failed her in every way that matters. He looks at both boys. But I won't fail you. I promise I'll show up. I'll listen. I'll earn your trust even if it takes the rest of my life. Kyril touches Alan's face, his small hand gentle. You smell like us, like home. Alan's breath hitches. You smell like home too. Brenton remains skeptical. We live at the sanctuary. With Mom, that's our home. I know, Alan says. I'm not asking you to leave your home. I'm asking for permission to visit, to learn about your lives, to be part of them if you'll have me. The boys look at each other, communicating silently the way twins do. Finally, Brenton nods. Okay, but if you mess up, we're done. Fair enough, Alan says. He opens his arms tentatively. After a moment's hesitation, Kyril steps into the embrace. Brenton waits another heartbeat, then follows. Alan holds his sons for the first time, and the sound he makes is something between a laugh and a sob. I watch from the trees, my own tears falling freely. This should be my moment of triumph. Instead, it feels like breaking and healing happening simultaneously. The mate bond throbs in my chest, alive and demanding. My wolf wants to join them, wants to complete the picture. But I'm not ready. Maybe I never will be. Some breaks cut too deep to fully mend. The ceremony dissolves into chaos after that. Pack members swarm with questions. Council members demand explanations. The borrowed pups are returned to their rightful mother. Councilman Dracot is arrested for conspiracy. Evidence is gathered from Sornix's clinic, confirming everything. Through it all, I stand apart with Allura and Taver, watching the fallout. You did it, Allura says quietly. You exposed them all. I didn't come here for revenge, I remind her. Then what did you come here for? I watch my sons talking with their father, awkward but trying. Truth, I say simply. They deserve to know the truth. Taver puts a hand on my shoulder. What happens now? I take a breath. Now we go home, back to the sanctuary, back to the life I built. And Alan. I look at the Alpha King kneeling before his sons, listening to them with desperate attention. Alan can visit, I decide. He can get to know them, but on my schedule, in my territory, on my terms. He won't like that, Taver warns. He doesn't have to like it, I say. He just has to accept it. Elder Marloea approaches, her ancient eyes warm. That was well done, child. You handled yourself with grace and strength. Thank you, Elder. The boys are extraordinary, twin alphas, the prophecy made real. I tense. What prophecy? Marloea's smile is enigmatic. An old story, rarely discussed, but it speaks of twin alphas born of true mates during a time of great change. They will either unite the packs or destroy them entirely. That's not ominous at all, Allura mutters. Prophecies rarely are, Marloea agrees. But for now, they're just boys who need their mother. Keep them safe, Glenda. Keep them grounded. Power like theirs can corrupt if not properly guided. After she leaves, Alan approaches. The boys have gone to examine the ceremonial decorations, giving us space. Glenda, Alan starts. Save it, I interrupt. I'm not ready for grand declarations or apologies. Then what are you ready for? I consider. Boundaries, you want to know your sons? Fine, visit the sanctuary once a week. Supervised at first, we'll see how it goes. Alan looks like he wants to argue, then he nods. Okay, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with any of this, I admit, but they deserve to know their father, so I'll allow it for them. Not for us. I meet his eyes. There is no us, Alan. You made sure of that 3 years ago. Pain flashes across his face, but he doesn't protest. "Can I ask you something?" he says quietly. "What?" "Why didn't you accept the rejection? You could have severed the bond completely, started fresh. Why hold on to it?" I touch my chest, where the bond sits like a scar. "I was too broken to let go," I say honestly. "Too shattered to complete the ceremony. And then later, when I could have done it, I realized the bond was all I had left of what we were. Damaged, painful, but real." "Is it still real?" I don't answer. Instead, I call to my sons. "Brenton, Kyril, time to go." Both boys run over, their formal suits now rumpled from play. "Already," Brenton protests. "We have a long drive home." Kyril looks at Alan. "Will we see you again?" "If your mother allows it, yes," Alan says. "I'd like that very much." "Can you teach us things?" Kyril asks. "Father things." Alan's voice cracks. "I would be honored to teach you everything I know." We say our goodbyes. The boys hug their father, still awkward, still uncertain, but willing to try. As we walk toward the waiting vehicle, Alan calls out, "Glenda." I pause but don't turn around. "I know you don't believe me, but I will spend the rest of my life proving I've changed, that I'm worthy of a second chance." "Don't do it for me," I say over my shoulder. "Do it for them." Then we drive away, leaving the chaos behind. In the backseat, both boys are quiet. Finally, Kyril speaks. "Mom, is our father a good person?" I think about Alan's tears, his confession, his genuine devastation. "He's a person who made terrible mistakes," I say carefully. "But he's trying to do better. That's all we can ask of anyone." "Do you still love him?" Brenton asks. The question I've been avoiding. "I love who he was," I say slowly. "I'm not sure who he is now. We'll have to wait and see." Allura reaches back and squeezes my hand. As we cross the border out of Nightfall territory, the mate bond loosens slightly. But it doesn't break. It never breaks. And I'm starting to realize it never will. The sanctuary welcomes us home like heroes returning from battle. Wolves line the driveway, cheering and celebrating. Word has already spread about what happened at the ceremony. Elvoria is the first to reach me as I step out of the vehicle. "You did it. You exposed the entire conspiracy." "I didn't go there to expose anything," I say, suddenly exhausted. "I just want to show them the truth." "Sometimes truth is the greatest weapon," she says wisely. The twins are immediately surrounded by other pups, all demanding stories about the ceremony. They're shy at first, overwhelmed by the attention. But soon they're describing the ceremonial grounds, the assembled packs, the moment their father acknowledged them. They don't mention the pain, the betrayal, the years of absence. They talk about the future, about learning to track, about their father's promises, about being Nightfall heirs. Children are resilient in ways adults forget. I escape to my office as soon as politeness allows. Allura follows, carrying 2 cups of tea. "You okay?" she asks. I sink into my chair. Honestly, I have no idea. What happens next? Alan wants to visit, get to know the boys. I sip the tea, chamomile and honey, my favorite. I told him once a week, supervised. Supervised by who? You, Taver, Daxton, anyone but me. Allura raises an eyebrow. You don't trust yourself around him. I don't trust the mate bond, I admit. It's still there, Allura, still pulling, still whispering that he's mine and I'm his. But you rejected him back, emotionally if not verbally. Emotions don't sever mate bonds, only ceremony does, and I never completed it. We sit in silence for a moment. "Can I ask you something?" Allura says carefully. "Do you want to complete it, sever the bond entirely?" I've thought about this 1,000 times. Part of me does, I confess. The part that's still angry, still hurt, but another part, I trail off. Another part still loves him, Allura finishes. I don't deny it. 3 days later, Alan arrives for his first visit. He comes alone, driving a modest vehicle instead of the pack's ceremonial cars. He's wearing casual clothes, jeans and a sweater, looking more like a nervous father than an alpha king. The twins spot him from the training grounds and run over, their excitement palpable. "You came," Kyril says, breathless. "I promised I would," Alan replies, kneeling to their level. "I'll always keep my promises to you." Taver supervises the visit, as agreed. They start with a tour of the sanctuary. I watch from my office window as Alan learns about the life his sons have built here. He sees the training grounds where they practice, the classroom where they study, the gardens where they help grow vegetables for the community. He sees the world I created without him. His face shows a dozen emotions: pride in his sons, regret for missing so much, something that might be jealousy that I built all this alone. Good, let him feel it all. After the tour, Taver brings them to the forest for tracking practice. This was Alan's idea, something he can teach them, a skill they can learn together. I tell myself I'm not going to watch. I watch anyway. Alan is patient with them, demonstrating how to read signs, identify scents, predict prey movement. The twins are eager students, hanging on his every word. Brenton asks a million questions. Kyril watches everything with intense focus. They look like a real family. The thought makes my chest ache. "You could join them, you know," Daxton says, appearing beside me. I shake my head. This is their time together. I won't interfere. "You wouldn't be interfering. You're their mother." And I get them every day. Alan gets a few hours a week. Let him have this. Daxton studies me. "You're being incredibly gracious for someone who was publicly rejected and humiliated." "I'm not doing it for Alan," I say. "I'm doing it for Brenton and Kyril. They deserve to know their father. They deserve the chance at a relationship I can't give them." "And what do you deserve?" I don't have an answer. The visits become routine. Every Sunday, Alan makes the 6-hour drive to the sanctuary. He spends the day with the boys, teaching them skills, playing with them, slowly building trust. He never asks to see me privately. He never pushes for more time. He follows every rule, every boundary I set. It's frustrating, actually. Part of me wants him to fight, to demand more, to prove he cares enough to challenge my walls. But another part appreciates his restraint, his respect for my decisions. The boys flourish with the attention. Brenton's tracking skills improve dramatically. Kyril learns pack history, asking Alan questions about their bloodline that I could never answer. They're bonding. And I'm left watching from the sidelines, feeling oddly left out of my own sons' lives. "You're brooding," Allura observes one Sunday afternoon, as I watch Alan teach the boys to identify edible plants. "I'm not brooding, I'm observing." "You're brooding. You've been standing at this window for an hour." I sigh. I should be happy they're connecting. But it's harder than I expected, watching him be the father they deserve, knowing that if he'd trusted me 3 years ago, we could have been doing this together all along. Allura is quiet for a moment. "Have you considered that maybe this is your chance too, to heal, to rebuild?" "There's nothing to rebuild. The bond is broken." "The bond is damaged, not broken. There's a difference." I shake my head. Some damage is too extensive to repair. But even as I say it, I watch Alan laugh at something Brenton said. Watch him ruffle Kyril's hair with gentle affection. He's not the same man who rejected me. Or maybe he's always been this man, buried under duty and pressure and fear. 6 weeks into the visits, something shifts. Alan arrives as usual on Sunday morning, but this time he brings gifts. For Brenton, a hand-carved wooden practice sword, perfectly balanced for small hands. For Kyril, a leather-bound journal filled with pack histories and legends. The boys are thrilled, showing off their gifts to everyone. Then Alan approaches me. "I brought something for the sanctuary," he says carefully, "if you'll accept it." He gestures to his vehicle. In the back is construction equipment, materials for building a new training pavilion. "The boys mentioned you're running out of space for classes," Alan explains. "I thought this might help." I stare at the equipment, caught between pride and suspicion. I don't need your charity, I say carefully. It's not charity. It's an investment in my son's education. They train here, they learn here. I want to support that. It's reasonable, practical, impossible to refuse without seeming petty. Fine, I allow. Thank you. His face lights up like I've given him the moon. Over the next month, Alan coordinates the construction of the training pavilion. He doesn't do it himself. He hires local builders, pays fair wages, ensures the work is done right. But he's here every week, checking on progress, making sure it meets the sanctuary's needs. The wolves here start to warm to him. They see his consistency, his respect for boundaries, his genuine love for his sons. Even Taver admits reluctantly, he's changed, or he's trying to. That counts for something. I watch it all happening and feel the walls I've built starting to crack. 3 months into the visits, Alan requests a private conversation. My first instinct is to refuse. But he asks in front of the boys, who look at me with hopeful eyes. Fine, I say, 30 minutes in my office. The boys cheer like they've won something. Alan follows me to the office, his presence filling the space in ways I've tried to ignore. I sit behind my desk. He stands by the window. What did you want to talk about? I ask, keeping my voice professional. Alan takes a breath. The boys asked me something last week. I promised I'd discuss it with you first. What did they ask? They want to visit Nightfall territory, see where I live, meet the pack that's technically theirs by blood. I tense immediately. Absolutely not. Glenda. No, they're safe here. They're happy here. I'm not exposing them to pack politics and hierarchy and all the poison that comes with it. Alan moves closer, his hands raised in a calming gesture. I understand your fear, but they're Nightfall heirs. Eventually, they'll need to know that world. Eventually is not now. I'm not suggesting they move there, just visit, spend a weekend, let them see where they come from. I want to refuse. Every protective instinct screams at me to keep my sons far away from the place that destroyed me. But I see the logic in his argument. I'll think about it, I say finally. That's all I ask. He turns to leave, then pauses. Glenda, can I ask you something personal? You can ask, I may not answer. Why do you never join us? During my visits, you stay hidden in your office or watching from windows, but you never spend time with us as a family. The word family makes my breath catch. Because we're not a family, I say quietly. You're their father, I'm their mother, but we're not a unit. We're separate entities co-parenting. Is that all we'll ever be? The question hangs between us. I stand, moving to the window so I don't have to look at him. 3 years ago, you looked me in the eye and told me I was broken, unworthy, not enough. Those words don't just disappear, Alan. I know, he says, his voice rough. I know I destroyed something precious, but people can change. Relationships can heal. Can they? I turn to face him. Can we ever get back what was lost, or are we just fooling ourselves? Alan crosses the distance between us in 3 strides. He stops just short of touching me, close enough that I can feel his warmth. I don't know if we can get back what we lost, he admits. But maybe we can build something new, something stronger because it's forged through pain and truth and hard-won trust. The mate bond flares to life between us, singing with recognition. My wolf howls, desperate to close the final distance. But I step back. I'm not ready, I whisper. I'll wait, Alan says simply, however long it takes. After he leaves, I collapse into my chair and let the tears fall. Because part of me wants to forgive him, wants to believe in second chances, wants to complete the family my sons deserve. But another part remembers the rain, the rejection, the years of pain. And I don't know how to reconcile the two. A week later, I agree to let the boys visit Nightfall territory. But I'm coming with them. Alan's surprise is evident when I announce this. You don't have to. Yes, I do, I interrupt. They're 3 years old, Alan. I'm not letting them travel 6 hours away without me. Of course, I just thought, you might not want to return there. He's right. The thought of stepping foot in Nightfall territory makes me physically ill. But my son's safety matters more than my comfort. We arrange the visit for the following weekend. 2 days, 1 night. Long enough to show the boys around, short enough that I can survive it. The drive there is tense. The twins are excited, chattering about what they might see. I'm silent, gripping the steering wheel too tight. Allura sits in the passenger seat, her presence a comfort. Alan offered to have us stay in the pack house. I refused. We're staying in the guest lodge, the same one I stayed in during the ceremony. Neutral ground, safe ground. As we cross the border into Nightfall territory, the mate bond explodes to life. I gasp, nearly swerving the vehicle. Glenda, Allura grabs the wheel. What's wrong? The bond, I manage. It's stronger here. Can you drive? I force myself to breathe slowly. Yes, I'm fine. But I'm not fine. Every mile deeper into the territory makes the bond pull harder. My wolf is going crazy, sensing her mate nearby, desperate to find him. I ignore her with practiced determination. We arrive at the guest lodge in late afternoon. Alan is waiting, and so is half the pack. The twins are immediately swarmed by curious wolves, wanting to meet the legendary twin heirs. Brenton handles the attention with alpha confidence. Kyril is more shy, hiding partially behind his brother. I stay back watching, protecting. Elder Marlowe approaches, her smile warm. Glenda, welcome back. Thank you, Elder. The pack has been eager to meet the boys properly. You've raised them well. I did what I had to do. She studies me with those ancient eyes. The bond pulls at you here, doesn't it? I don't bother denying it, like a physical force. Mate bonds are powerful things, especially true mate bonds formed young. They don't sever easily. I've noticed. Marlowe touches my arm gently. He's changed, child. I've watched him these months. The guilt has carved him into something better than he was. Guilt isn't the same as growth. No, she agrees, but sometimes it's the catalyst for it. That evening, Alan hosts a dinner in the pack house. It's casual, families gathering, children playing, the kind of community meal I used to organize when I was Luna. The twins are in their element, soaking up the attention, asking questions, making friends. I sit at the edge, nursing a glass of wine, feeling like a ghost at my own funeral. This should have been my life. These should have been my people. Instead, I'm a visitor, an outsider, tolerated because of my sons, not welcomed for myself. You okay? Taver appears beside me, having accompanied us for security. Define okay. He follows my gaze to where Alan is showing the boys the pack's history wall, portraits of former alphas, Lunas, and notable pack members. He's good with them, Taver observes. I know. That bothers you. I consider lying. Yes, it bothers me that he gets to be the fun parent, the teacher, the hero, while I was the one who changed diapers and walked the floors with sick toddlers and sacrificed everything. Have you told him that? Why would I? It's not his fault I chose to raise them alone. Isn't it, though? You raised them alone because he rejected you. The truth of that sits heavy between us. Later that night, after the boys are asleep in the guest lodge and Allura has retired to her room, I find myself walking. My feet carry me to the border, where I was rejected. The rain has long since washed away any physical evidence, but the memory is fresh as yesterday. I stand there, remembering. I wondered if you'd come here. I spin to find Alan standing behind me. Following me now, I ask, defensive. I saw you leave. I was worried. I don't need your worry. He ignores that, moving to stand beside me. This is where it happened. I know where it happened. I was there. We stand in silence, ghosts of our younger selves echoing in the space between us. I replay it constantly, Alan says quietly. That day, your face, the moment I turned away from you. Why, I ask bitterly, does it help? No, it destroys me, every single time. I laugh without humor. Good. Glenda. Don't, I interrupt. Don't try to make this better with pretty words. You rejected me here. You broke our bond here. You destroyed me here. There's no pretty words that fix that. I know, he says. I know I can't fix it, but maybe I can build something better, starting here, starting now. He kneels on the ground, the exact spot where I collapsed 3 years ago. What are you doing? I demand. What I should have done then, he says. I'm begging forgiveness, not because I deserve it, but because you deserve to hear it. Stand up, I hiss. You look ridiculous. I don't care how I look. Glenda, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for rejecting you. I'm sorry for believing lies over truth. I'm sorry for choosing duty over love. I'm sorry for every moment of pain I caused you. Tears stream down my face, despite my best efforts. Sorry doesn't bring back 3 years, I choke out. I know, but it's all I have to offer. That, and a promise that I'll spend the rest of my life trying to earn even a fraction of your trust back. I stare down at this alpha king kneeling in the dirt, and something breaks inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet. But maybe the beginning of healing. Get up, I say, my voice softer. This doesn't fix anything, but thank you for saying it. Alan stands slowly. Can I ask something? What? Why didn't you accept the rejection? Why hold on to the bond all this time? I touch my chest, where the bond throbs like a second heartbeat. Because letting go would mean admitting it was all for nothing, I whisper. The love, the hope, the dreams we built. If I severed the bond completely, all of that becomes meaningless. At least this way, broken as it is, it's proof it was real. Understanding dawns in Alan's eyes. It was real. It is real. The bond doesn't lie, Glenda. What we had was real. Had, I emphasize, past tense. But it doesn't have to stay past tense. I shake my head. I'm not ready for that conversation. When will you be ready? I don't know, maybe never, maybe someday, but not tonight. Alan nods, accepting this. Then I'll keep waiting, keep proving myself, keep showing up. We walk back to the guest lodge in silence. At the door, he pauses. The boys are happy here, he says, but I saw your face during dinner. You were miserable. I'm fine. You're not, and I understand why. This place holds too many painful memories for you. He takes a breath. What if I came to the sanctuary more often? Instead of once a week, what if I came 3 times a week? That way the boys don't have to travel here as much. The offer surprises me. That's an 18-hour round trip, 3 times a week. I don't care. If it means my sons are comfortable and you're not suffering, I'll drive it every day. I study his face, looking for manipulation or hidden agenda. I find only sincerity. Okay, I say finally. 3 times a week, but you stay in the guest quarters at the sanctuary, no exceptions. Deal. Inside, I check on the boys one last time. They're sprawled across one bed together, identical even in sleep. My heart swells with love so fierce it hurts. Everything I've done for them. Including this, giving their father a chance to be part of their lives. Even if it means risking my own heart in the process. The new routine settles into place with surprising ease. Alan arrives at the sanctuary Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings. He stays overnight in the guest quarters, spends the next morning with the boys, then drives back to manage pack business remotely. It's exhausting for him. I can see the fatigue in his face after weeks of this schedule. But he never complains. The boys thrive. They have dinner with their father 3 times a week, learning pack history over pasta, practicing alpha commands while doing homework. And slowly, against my better judgment, I stop hiding in my office. It starts small. I join them for dinner on Wednesdays because Brenton insists. Then I stay for story time because Kyril asks. Then I find myself sitting with them during training sessions because it feels wrong to be excluded from my own sons' lives. Alan never pushes, never comments on my presence. He just makes space for me, saves me a seat at dinner, includes me in conversations, asks my opinion on training techniques. It's comfortable. Terrifyingly comfortable. You're softening toward him, Allura observes one Friday evening. I can tell. We're watching Alan teach the boys to fish in the sanctuary's pond. He's patient, encouraging, laughing when Chiral accidentally hooks his own shirt. I'm not softening, I protest. I'm just being civil. You're smiling at him. I am, I quickly school my expression. I'm smiling at the boys. Sure you are. But she's right, I am softening. And it terrifies me. 2 months into the new routine, something shifts. It's a Wednesday evening. Alan arrives looking exhausted, dark circles under his eyes. Rough week, I ask as he drops his bag in the guest quarters. Pack council meeting, he mutters. They're still pushing for heirs, official heirs, recognized by the council. The boys are your heirs. Yes, but, he hesitates. But what? But they carry your surname. By pack law, they're Shadowmeres, not Nightfalls. The council wants them formally claimed, which requires, he trails off. Which requires you to have a Luna, I finish. A mate to complete the bond. Alan nods miserably. I told them I'm not taking another chosen mate. That Jexina was a mistake I won't repeat, but they're getting insistent. So take another chosen mate, I say, proud that my voice stays steady. Find someone who fits their requirements, someone who'll give you the heirs they want. Alan's eyes snap to mine, storm gray filled with shock. You can't be serious. Why not? You did it once before. And look how that turned out, his voice rises. Glenda, I'm not replacing you, not again, not ever. Then what's your solution? He takes a breath. I want to challenge the council, change the laws, make it so blood heirs are recognized regardless of their parents' bond status. That's noble, but is it realistic? It has to be, because the only other option is, he stops. Is what? Is asking you to accept the mate bond again, to become Luna, to complete what we started 6 years ago. My heart stops, then races, then stops again. That's not happening, I say firmly. I know, I'm not asking. I would never ask that of you after what I did. Alan runs a hand through his hair. I'm just explaining why the council is pushing. They don't understand that some breaks can't be mended. He sounds so defeated. And despite everything, it hurts to see him like this. Change the laws, I tell him. If you're half the Alpha King everyone says you are, you can make it happen. His eyes meet mine with something like hope. You believe I can do it. I believe you can do anything when you're fighting for your sons. The moment stretches between us, loaded with unsaid words. Then Brenton bursts in, demanding dinner, and the moment breaks. The law change becomes Alan's mission. He spends his non-sanctuary days rallying support, negotiating with council members, building alliances with other packs. It's fascinating to watch him work. This is the leader he was always meant to be, strong but flexible, determined but willing to listen. This is the man I fell in love with 6 years ago. The realization terrifies me. 4 months into his campaign, he succeeds. The Pack Council votes to change the law. Blood heirs are now recognized regardless of parental bond status. Brenton and Chiral are officially Nightfall heirs. Without me having to become Lunar again. Alan celebrates by taking the boys to the sanctuary's highest peak to watch the sunset. I stay behind, supposedly to finish paperwork. Really, I need space to process. He changed centuries of pack law for our sons. That kind of dedication means something. Allura finds me still at my desk hours later, staring at nothing. He did it, she says simply. He did. And you still don't trust him. I consider the question honestly. I trust him with our sons. I trust that he's changed. I trust that he loves them fiercely. But trusting him with my heart again, that's different. That's terrifying. Allura sits across from me. Can I tell you something you probably don't want to hear? Have I ever been able to stop you? She smiles. You're not the same person you were 3 years ago. You've grown. You've become a leader, a mother, a force to be reckoned with. But Alan's changed too. He's not the weak alpha who chose duty over love. He's fought for your sons. He's respected your boundaries. He's put in the work. So what are you saying? I'm saying maybe it's time to stop punishing him for who he was and start seeing who he's become. I want to argue, want to list all the reasons why trusting him again is dangerous. But I can't. Because she's right. The breaking point comes a week later. It's a Friday evening. Alan is teaching the boys to make traditional pack stew, a recipe passed down through Nightfall generations. I'm reading on the porch, half listening to their laughter from the kitchen. Then Kyril asks, "Dad, do you love our mom?" The kitchen goes silent. I freeze, book forgotten. Alan's voice, careful and honest. "Yes, I love her more than I knew was possible to love someone." "Then why aren't you together?" "Because I hurt her, badly, and she doesn't trust me anymore. I'm trying to earn that trust back, but it takes time." Brenton's practical voice. "How much time?" "However long it takes, maybe forever, but I'll keep trying because she's worth it." Kyril again, softer. "Do you think she'll ever love you back?" A long pause. Then Alan, "I don't know, buddy, but even if she doesn't, I'll still be here, for you too, because you're the best thing that ever happened to me." My vision blurs with tears. I slip away before they notice me listening. That night, after the boys are in bed and Alan is preparing to leave, I stop him. "Can we talk?" His surprise is evident. "Of course, here or your office." "The porch, under the stars." We settle into the rocking chairs I had installed last month. The night is clear, the sanctuary peaceful around us. "I heard what you told the boys," I admit, "about loving me." Alan tenses. "I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable." "You didn't, it just made me think." "About what?" I take a breath. "About the fact that I've been so focused on the past that I haven't been paying attention to the present. You've been here, Alan, consistently, respectfully. You've changed laws for our sons. You drive 18 hours a week to see them. You've never once pushed me for more than I was willing to give." "Because I don't have the right to push." "Maybe not, but you've earned something, respect, trust, a chance." Alan's breath catches. "A chance at what?" I turn to face him fully. "At us, at rebuilding what we lost, not going back, we can't go back, but maybe moving forward." "Glenda," his voice is rough with emotion, "are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm willing to try. Slowly, carefully, no promises, but I'm willing to see if we can build something new." Alan closes his eyes like he's praying. When he opens them, they're wet with tears. "I won't let you down," he says fiercely. "Not again, never again." "You'd better not, because this is the only second chance you're getting." He nods, understanding the weight of that. We sit in silence, the mate bond humming between us, still damaged, still scarred, but maybe beginning to heal. "Can I ask you something?" Alan says quietly. "What?" Would you ever consider completing the bond again, formally, becoming Lunar again?" I stiffen immediately. "Alan." "Not now," he says quickly. "Not for years maybe, but someday, could you see it?" I think about my sanctuary, about the life I've built, about the independence I've fought so hard for. "I don't know," I say honestly. "Being Luna nearly destroyed me once. I'm not sure I can risk that again." "What if it was different? What if you kept the sanctuary, kept your work? What if being Luna was something you added to your life instead of something that consumed it?" The idea has merit, but it's also terrifying. "Ask me again in a year," I tell him, "after we see if this works, if we can actually rebuild trust." "Fair enough." We rock in our chairs, listening to the night sounds. Then Alan asks, "Can I hold your hand?" Such a simple request. Such a monumental step. I extend my hand. He takes it carefully, like I'm made of glass. His skin is warm against mine. The mate bond flares at the contact, singing with recognition and relief. We sit like that for an hour, just holding hands under the stars. Not fixing everything, but maybe starting to heal. The next 6 months are a careful dance. Alan continues his visits, but now I join them fully. We have family dinners. We attend the boys' training sessions together. We make decisions as a team about their education, their development, their future. We also start having weekly dates, just the two of us. Dinner in neutral territory, walks through the forest, long conversations about everything except our painful past. I learn who Alan has become. He learns who I've grown into. It's strange and wonderful and terrifying all at once. The boys notice the change. They start calling us mom and dad together instead of separately. They ask if we're boyfriend and girlfriend with the innocent directness of children. We're working on it, I tell them honestly. Good, Brenton says with alpha certainty. You should be together. Kyril agrees. You make each other smile. Do we? I hadn't noticed. But when I pay attention, I realize they're right. Alan makes me laugh with terrible jokes. I make him smile with sarcastic commentary. We've developed our own rhythm, our own language. It's not the desperate, passionate love of our youth. It's something steadier, deeper, built on truth and respect and hard-won understanding. On the 1-year anniversary of Alan's first visit to the sanctuary, he asks me the question again. We're alone on the porch, the boys asleep inside. I know I said I'd wait a year, he starts. And I have, but Glenda, I need to know. Can you ever see yourself trusting me completely, accepting the mate bond again, being my Luna? I've thought about this every day for the past year. I trust you with our sons, I say carefully. I trust you to show up, to be consistent, to put them first. But you don't trust me with your heart. I'm learning to, but Alan, you have to understand. What you didn't just break my heart. It shattered my ability to believe in forever, to believe in promises, to believe that love is enough. What do I need to do? He asks desperately. Tell me what I need to do to earn that belief back. I look at this man who has driven countless miles, changed ancient laws, and rebuilt himself from the inside out. You've already done it, I realize aloud. You've already proven yourself. My fear isn't about you anymore. It's about me. It's about whether I'm brave enough to risk being hurt again. So what do we do? I stand, pulling him to his feet. Then, for the first time in 4 years, I step into his arms. The mate bond roars to life between us. 3 years of separation and 1 year of careful rebuilding culminating in this single moment. Alan holds me like I'm precious, like I'm fragile, like I'm everything. We take it one day at a time, I whisper against his chest. We keep building trust, we keep showing up, and maybe someday I'll be ready to complete the bond again. And if that day never comes, then we love each other anyway, imperfectly, carefully, but genuinely. Alan's arms tighten around me. I can live with that. We stand like that under the stars, two broken people learning to be whole again. Not through grand gestures or perfect declarations, but through consistency, honesty, and the daily choice to try. Inside, our sons sleep peacefully, unaware that their parents are finally finding their way back to each other. It's not a fairy tale ending, but it's real. And after everything we've been through, real is enough. 6 months later, I make a decision that surprises even me. I ask Alan to move to the sanctuary. Not into my quarters, we're not there yet, but into a permanent residence instead of the guest quarters. His face lights up like I've given him the moon. Are you sure? He asks, searching my face for doubt. I'm sure. The boys want you here more. And honestly, so do I. He moves in the following week. A small house on the sanctuary grounds, close enough to be present but far enough to give me space. The boys are ecstatic. Having their father nearby full-time instead of part-time changes everything. Alan throws himself into sanctuary life. He volunteers with training classes. He helps with construction projects. He mediates disputes with the wisdom of an alpha king who's learned from his mistakes. The sanctuary wolves warm to him completely. They see what I've been seeing for months, a man genuinely trying to be better. 8 months after he moves in, Alan proposes. Not marriage. Neither of us are ready for that. but he proposes that we complete the mate bond ceremony. Formally, publicly, in front of both our communities. I'm not asking you to become Luna, he clarifies. I'm not asking you to give up anything you've built. I'm just asking you to accept me as your mate again, to complete what we started 6 years ago. My heart pounds. This is what I've been both craving and fearing. I need time to think, I tell him. Take all the time you need. I talk to Allura, to Taver, to Elder Marloea, to the sanctuary wolves who have become my family. They all say the same thing, do what feels right for you. So I ask myself, what feels right? Being alone felt right 3 years ago, when I was raw and broken. Building the sanctuary felt right when I needed purpose. Raising my sons felt right when I needed strength. But now being with Alan feels right. Not because I need him, but because I choose him. And that makes all the difference. We hold the ceremony at the sanctuary 3 months later. It's not the elaborate production our first bonding was. It's intimate, just family, close friends, and the sanctuary community. Elder Marloea presides, her ancient voice carrying across the gathered wolves. 6 years ago, these two souls were bound by the moon goddess. 3 years ago, that bond was broken through fear and lies. Today, we gather to witness not a restoration, but a renewal. A choice to love despite pain, to trust despite betrayal, to believe in second chances. I stand facing Alan, wearing a simple silver dress. He wears traditional alpha formal wear. Our sons stand beside us, now 4 years old, tall and strong and so very proud. Elder Marloea asks the ritual questions. Alan Nightfall, do you accept Glenda Shadowmere as your mate? Do you promise to honor her strength, respect her independence, and cherish her always? I do, Alan says, his voice strong and sure. Not because duty demands it, but because love requires it. Marloea turns to me. Glenda Shadowmere, do you accept Alan Nightfall as your mate? Do you forgive past wrongs, trust present actions, and believe in future possibilities? I look at Alan, really look at him. I see the lines around his eyes from 4 years of guilt and growth. I see the man who drives impossible distances for his sons. I see the partner who has respected every boundary I've set. I see someone worth the risk. I do, I say clearly. Not because I've forgotten the pain, but because I've chosen to believe in healing. We mark each other again, his bite on my shoulder, mine on his. The mate bond, damaged and scarred for so long, suddenly blazes to life in full force. It's like coming home after years of wandering. It's like breathing after drowning. It's like everything the stories promised, but better because it's been earned. The sanctuary erupts in celebration. The boys tackle us in a group hug, laughing and crying and making us promise we'll never be apart again. That night, after the celebration dies down, Alan and I walk through the sanctuary grounds. How do you feel? He asks. Terrified, I admit, but also hopeful. I'm terrified too, terrified I'll mess this up again. I take his hand. You probably will, we both will. That's what being human or wolf means, making mistakes. The question is whether we face them together. Together, Alan agrees, always. We reach the highest point of the sanctuary, looking out over the land I built from nothing. I have a confession, Alan says quietly. What? I want to make you Lunar again, not to control you or change you, but because you deserve the recognition, the title, the authority that comes with being my equal partner. I tense automatically. Alan, I know you're going to say no, that Luna almost destroyed you once, but hear me out. He turns to face me fully. What if we redefined what Luna means? What if instead of giving up the sanctuary to live in the pack house, you expanded your influence? The sanctuary becomes an official extension of Nightfall territory. You're Luna here in your domain. I visit and support, but this is yours. The idea is revolutionary. Lunas traditionally live in the pack house, bound to territory politics. But what if it didn't have to be that way? You'd accept a Luna who lives 6 hours away, I ask skeptically. I'd accept a Luna who built her own empire, who saved hundreds of rejected wolves, who raised our sons alone and emerged stronger for it. His eyes are intense. Glenda, you're already a leader. Making it official just acknowledges what everyone already knows. I think about it, really think about it. I'll consider it, I tell him, but I'm not giving up the sanctuary, not diminishing my work here. If I accept the title, it's on my terms. I wouldn't have it any other way. 3 months later, I accept. The Luna ceremony is held at Nightfall territory, but it's different from traditional ceremonies. I arrive not as a supplicant, but as an equal leader. I wear my sanctuary colors, not pack colors. I stand beside Alan, not behind him. When Elder Marloea places the Luna crown on my head, she announces, Luna Glenda Shadowmere Nightfall, leader of the Lunar Heritage Sanctuary and partner to Alpha King Alan Nightfall. The pack accepts me, not because they have to, but because I've proven my worth. The council members who once pushed for my rejection now bow with genuine respect. It's vindication I never knew I needed. After the ceremony, we return to the sanctuary, my real home. The boys run to greet us, wearing matching shirts that say Royal Pups. You're officially Luna now, Brenton announces proudly. Does that mean you're staying? Kyril asks. I kneel to their level. I'm staying right here at the sanctuary. Your father and I will travel between territories, but this is home, always. Promise, Kyril needs the reassurance. Promise. That night, Alan and I sit on our porch, not just mine anymore, and watch the stars. Do you regret it? I ask quietly. The rejection, the 3 years we lost. Alan is quiet for a long moment. I regret the pain I caused. I regret the time we lost with the boys, but I can't regret the journey entirely. Why not? Because you wouldn't be this strong if you hadn't been broken first. The sanctuary wouldn't exist. Hundreds of wolves wouldn't have found refuge. Our sons wouldn't have been raised by a mother who's a force of nature. He takes my hand. You were always going to be extraordinary, Glenda. My rejection just forced you to discover it sooner. That's a generous interpretation. It's the truth. You didn't need me to be amazing. You just needed the chance to prove it to yourself. I lean my head against his shoulder. We're going to fight, you know. We're going to disagree. I'm going to drive you crazy with my independence. Good, I'd be bored otherwise. And I'm never moving to the pack house full-time. I know, I'm building a permanent residence here instead. And the boys are staying at the sanctuary for their education. Wouldn't have it any other way. I smile, just making sure we're clear on the terms. Crystal clear, you're a Luna who does things her own way. I'm an Alpha King learning to be flexible. We're perfect for each other. 5 years later. Brenton and Kyril are 9 years old now, and they're extraordinary. Their alpha power has only grown stronger. They train daily, learning to control abilities that sometimes frighten even experienced warriors. But they're also kind, thoughtful, and deeply protective of their sanctuary family. Alan and I have settled into a rhythm. He spends 3 weeks a month at the sanctuary, 1 week managing pack business at Nightfall territory. I travel with him sometimes, but the sanctuary remains my primary focus. We're not a traditional alpha pair, but we work. The sanctuary has expanded to 300 acres. We've helped over 500 rejected wolves find purpose again. We've built schools, training facilities, healing centers. We've changed what it means to be rejected. Now, being sent to Lunar Heritage Sanctuary isn't a punishment. It's an opportunity. One evening, as I'm reviewing expansion plans, both boys burst into my office. Mom, Dad, come quick. We follow them to the training grounds, where a young she-wolf stands nervously. She's barely 16, her eyes swollen from crying. This is Nyressa Stormrider, Brenton explains. Her pack just rejected her for choosing education over early bonding. I recognize the story. I've heard it hundreds of times. I approach the girl gently. Welcome to Lunar Heritage Sanctuary. You're safe here. She bursts into tears. They said I was selfish, that I was rejecting my purpose. Your purpose is whatever you decide it is, I tell her firmly, not what your pack dictates. Alan appears beside me, offering the girl a handkerchief. My mate was rejected too. Look at her now. She's Luna, Sanctuary founder, and the strongest woman I know. Nyressa looks at me with hope dawning in her eyes. Really? Really? Rejection isn't the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a better one. As we help settle Nyressa into the sanctuary, I feel Alan's hand slip into mine. Still changing the world, he murmurs. One rejected wolf at a time. That night, after everyone is settled, our family gathers for dinner. It's chaos, the boys arguing about training techniques, Allura sharing sanctuary gossip, Taver telling embarrassing stories about Alan's youth. I sit back and watch them all, my heart full. This is my pack, not bound by traditional hierarchy, but by choice and love and shared purpose. Later, as I'm putting the boys to bed, Kyril asks, Mom, are you happy? I think about the journey, from that rainy night 3 years ago to this moment. Yes, baby, I'm happy. Because Dad came back. Because I learned I didn't need anyone to come back. I could build happiness myself. Your father joining us just made it better. Brenton, always practical, asks, will you tell our story someday? How you went from rejected to Luna? Maybe, if others need to hear it. They will, Kyril says with the certainty only alpha pups possess. Everyone needs to know that rejection isn't the end. After they sleep, I find Alan on the porch, our usual spot. The boys asked if we'll tell our story, I say, settling beside him. What did you say? That maybe we will, if it helps someone. Alan pulls me close. What would you tell them, if you could sum it all up? I think about it. I'd tell them that the Alpha King invited his rejected Barren mate to humiliate her, but she arrived with 2 Alpha heirs and her own empire. I'd tell them that rejection broke her but didn't destroy her, that she rebuilt herself into something stronger than anyone expected. And the ending. I look at our sanctuary, at the lights glowing in buildings full of wolves finding themselves again. The ending is that she didn't need her Alpha King to save her. She saved herself. But when he proved himself worthy, she chose to let him be part of her kingdom, not as a savior, but as an equal partner. Alan kisses my temple. That's a good ending. It's not an ending, I correct. It's a beginning. The real story is what we build from here. We sit in comfortable silence, 2 people who were broken and are now healing, leading a sanctuary full of others doing the same. The mate bond hums between us, no longer damaged, but marked by what we survived. Stronger for the breaking, wiser for the healing, perfect in its imperfection. And as the stars wheel overhead, I realize something profound. The Alpha King didn't summon his rejected mate to humiliate her. He summoned her to witness his own downfall and rebirth. And in doing so, gave her the chance to choose him again. Not from necessity, but from strength. And that makes all the difference.